Okay, so how do you use these vector tools, this pen tool in particular? Now we can take a look at what I've done with the pen tool on this image. Let me select all the pieces here. There we go, and one more. And let's zoom in. Take a look and see what's there. I've got the outline of the perimeter of this, and this was done by a series of click and drag maneuvers to make these vector points. And once I did the perimeter, I did these counter spaces that are in between. Those of you familiar with Illustrator and the pen tool, you've done this before, but not all of you have. So let's take a look. Let's see. What if we had left off this little piece right here where there's kind of a hole that you can see through? I'll just delete those, and we'll zoom in just a bit more. There we go. So this is the pen tool, and I can click to start a point. I'll click and drag, and it'll take some practice. Now when you click again and then hold that mouse down and drag this out, little handles come off of that vector point, and you can see as I move that back and forth, it affects the curve. There's Photoshop's doing some fairly complicated math for us at this point. You and I don't have to mess with the math, but we do have to draw and direct these vector points into the right configuration. And so we try and draw as few vector points as possible, but as many as we need to accurately make the shape. Oh, now I need to draw one more in there, I think. There we go. And then I'll click and drag to get that rounded edge of the wire that comes through for the spring. And I think I can just click on the end and see when I go to close the loop, I get that little circular add-on to my cursor, and I can click and close up that loop, and sure enough, there it is. And let's see if that takes on here now. There we go. Yeah, and that's still a part of my vector mask. Oh, I guess it's picking up on the original. It didn't get my new one. That's the thing. You've got to have these all ready, the perimeter and all of the little holes or counter spaces inside. Those need to be all ready to go. And I think this one will probably show up as an additional path or something. There we go. But that's how you draw these. That's how you use that tool. Once you have a path made, and here's that vector mask, you can save this as a path, save it as a path or a working path. And once I've got it saved as a path, I can tell it to be a clipping path, and that's when I get this little outlined name. Now a PSD saved with a clipping path, that's the one that you can then, that you can then take into InDesign, and the background of the image will be clipped out of that image, even in InDesign. Let's see now. Now once you've got a path in place, you can also use that path to make a selection. You could do marching ants from that if you want to, if that suits your purpose. It might or might not, but do know that option is available. And also, let's see, once we get a path in place, sorry, we can go the other way too. There was one of these that I made a selection already. Here we go. On pliers 2, what I did, I took the magic wand and selected the background and did the inverse of that to select the pliers. And let's see if we can load that. There's select load selection, and I called it, I think I just called it 1. There it is. Now here's a selection that I made that's reasonably accurate. It's got some little things that I need to tweak, but I can, let's see, I can make a vector path from that selection. When I've got the marching ants in place, I can make a work path. There we go. From the selection. Aha. And now that work path I can make into a path, and then I can select it with my vector selection tools. Look at that. Of course, this is just the outer edge of it, but that's okay. What I can do now is we can zoom in and we can edit that path. If you don't like the idea of starting totally from scratch with the pen tool, you can do a selection, make it into a work path, and that was over here in the Paths panel, not the layers, but the paths. You can make that selection into a work path. Once I've got the work path, you can save the path, and it'll be these editable vector points. And there we go. I can move those around. And if my magic wand didn't select this shadow as a part of what's going to be the path, I can do that after the fact. I can come in here and with a little bit of fine-tuning, I can adjust that path to more accurately reflect the shape. A lot of those that are experienced with Illustrator, it may turn out to be just as easy to create the path from scratch. But if you want a little bit of help, or if you want another way to kind of experiment with this, do the selection, make it into a work path, and then you can edit that path with your vector tools. So there we go. Now for the assignment, what you'll be doing is taking a photo of an object, creating a vector path around it. Hopefully there are some little spaces, like you could, tools are great, little metal objects that you might have around are great. Paperclip would be kind of interesting. Even something like a teacup that has the little handle in it, that would be interesting. And I'd like you to make a vector path around it, and as well as the little holes and counter spaces on the inside. And then do a vector mask using that path, like so, vector mask. And also take that path that you've made and bring that into another Photoshop document and create one of these silhouettes with that. Now, how did I do that again? Let's take a look. I'll delete this, and we'll just create another new layer. I'll select all and fill that with color, and I'll deselect. Now back in the other document where I've got some paths made, I can select one of these paths, and with, let's see, with that path in play, I can take the layer mask and bring that over. Oh, no, I can't. Let's see here. There we go. We'll select it and shift click and select all those little holes and counter spaces. There we go. That should be the whole thing. And let's bring that one over. There it is. And there's my path. And select all of it over here. I've got a number of pieces to this one. And with all those in play, I'll do the vector mask, and there it is. Now I can take my move tool and move that around to the part of the image that suits it the best. Now this is, you can see this is the path that I made for my selection, and really it still needs a little bit more refining. But this is the idea, to create that silhouette using the selection. So I want an image photographed, do a vector path around it, make that into a vector mask that masks out the background, and then take that path and bring it into another image and create a silhouette of that image. And then you can scale that as well. So here we'll transform path and scale, hold down the shift key of course, and we can make that path as big as we want. And since it's vector information, it is resolution independent until you choose to rasterize it, you know, flatten that into another layer perhaps. So there we go. That's pretty much what we'll be doing this week. Thanks.